Hi, this is Jogendra Tuteja and you're watching me at Tuteja Talks Desimartini, and I'm going to talk about the day one numbers of Salman Khan's big Eid release, Tubelight. So as I predicted a couple of days back, Tubelight was expected to take an opening day of at the least 25 crore. It was also expected that if the word of mouth catches up, and given the kind of release that it enjoyed, 4,350 screens, there was a good enough capacity and the collections could have well touched the 30 crore mark as well. Unfortunately, that hasn't really turned out to be the case. The film has taken an opening of 21.15 crore. Now this is definitely below expectations. Of course, anything above 20 crore is considered to be good enough, but when it comes to Salman, just good is not enough. As has been the case with his films, the collections have traditionally been in the upwards of 25 crore. They have gone to 30, 35, 40 crore as well. But here 21.15 crore is relatively low, and that makes us think about what really resulted in such numbers. The film was never expected to take a blockbuster start. It was thought that it would open around 50 to 60%, and then by the time the evening and night shows will come in, there would be houseful boards all over. Unfortunately, this did not really happen. Now, single screens it was still expected, because this was not a film where hardcore Salman Khan fans would have thronged theatres. However, much better response was expected at the multiplexes, especially in the evening and night shows. None of that really happened. The collection stayed in an average of about 50 to 60% at some premier properties. It went up to about 80 to 90%, but that's about it. Now, this is what resulted in the collections just about crossing the 20 crore mark. The word of mouth also started spreading that even if one discounts the fact that this wasn't a quintessential Salman Khan entertainer, it wasn't really touching the emotional strings. The critics said it, the word of mouth from the audience also said it, and hence the kind of collections that the film ultimately enjoyed. Now let's look at it from the comparative analysis. As I had mentioned even earlier during the prediction, it would be unfair to pitch any film that releases this year with Bahubali 2. Now that was phenomenal. You get something like that once a year. However, when you compare it with the other films that have released this year, Tubelight has done marginally better than Rais. Now that film got 20.42 crore on day one, and by the way, that too came with a clash with Kabil. The screen size was also half or approximately half to that of Tubelight, and here Tubelight has done just marginally better. Even if one looks at the other Salman Khan films ever since the release of Dabangg, Tubelight doesn't find a place in top 5. Leave aside that fact, just compare it with other Eid releases. We have got 5 major Eid releases where Salman Khan has scored. We have had Sultan, Bajrangi Bhaijaan, Kick, Ek Tha Tiger, Bodyguard, and guess what? Tubelight has scored lesser than each of these films. Now that pretty much tells the tale that from the Eid release comparison perspective as well, Tubelight hasn't really shone bright. So $1 million question is, where does Tubelight go from here? Now the talks are no more about whether it's going to do 300, 400 or 500. What needs to be seen as the first major milestone is whether it crosses 200 crore in this lifetime. Now what needs to happen for that is, there needs to be a turnaround today. On Saturday, it needs to cross at least 25 crore so that the stage is set for the 2 big holidays, which is Sunday and Monday. Monday being Eid, on these 2 days for the film to cross 30 crore each. Only when that happens will the film get into weekdays with 100 crore behind it. Now, will that happen? That's something that has to be seen. Stay tuned as I bring you more updates on the coming Monday with the weekend collections of Tubelight. Here is Jogendra Tuteja signing off from Tuteja Talks Desimartini.